Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So glad to see all of you guys here. Today I want to chat with you about a new feature that Canon just added to the EOS R3, the ability to actually register people's faces into the focusing system of the R3. It's mind-blowing. So a lot of you guys know I've been using the R3 ever since release date. I've been so happy with this camera and really blown away by how good, how accurate, how snappy the focusing system is, but Canon just made it even better. So what Canon did is via firmware update 1.4.1, or it actually came out in 1.4.0, but then they had to fix some bugs. So it's 1.4.1 is the firmware update you want. They added the ability to actually register specific people's faces into the focusing system of the camera so that when the camera is hunting for focus, it actually prioritizes specific people's faces, which is insane to think about. This is literally like facial recognition from movies and TV built right into the camera. It's mind-blowing. You can register up to 10 separate people's faces, prioritize those faces in any specific order you want, so the camera will hunt for person number 1, and if it can't find that person, it'll look for person number 2, 3, all the way down to number 10. And then you can actually save different sets of registered faces and upload those back into the camera. So if you have specific jobs you're going back and forth to consistently, and you have a list of people you want the camera to focus on, you can set the whole camera up to do that. It's crazy. So here's how you actually get this to work on the camera. So the first thing you're going to need to do is make sure your firmware update is on 1.4.1. So just go over to the little wrench icon menu, which is menu number 5 across the top, go over to sub menu number 6, and then go to firmware. Double check to make sure your camera is on firmware 1.4.1. If it's not, I'll drop a link to the firmware update in the description of this video. You can just download that firmware, drop it on the memory card, put the memory card in the camera, go back to the firmware screen here and update your firmware from there. Just make sure you're on version 1.4.1. And then once you are on that firmware, then you can go over to the autofocus menu, which is menu number 2 across the top, and go to sub menu number 5, and then you'll have this new menu item called Register People Priority. So if we open up that menu item, you'll see we have an on-off toggle, so you can turn this mode on and off, and then under that you have photograph people and register. So this allows you to literally like hold the camera up, point it at someone's face, position that person's face in the frame, take a picture, and then register that face into the camera settings. So obviously I'm in my office right now and I don't have the ability to go out and photograph a bunch of different people, but I'm gonna just literally use some stock photos on Unsplash to show you how this works. So literally if you like pull up someone's face here, point the camera at that person's face, position their face in the little window, take a picture, then the camera asks you if you want to register that face, and then now that person's face is registered into the system so that when the camera's focus is hunting for focus, it will automatically look for that person's face in whichever order you set that up. You can also register people's faces from images on the memory card. Now, I will say I haven't been able to test this out practically. The photos that I've taken on the memory cards have said they didn't work. It worked a lot better to actually just photograph someone in real life or on a screen and then register faces that way. But apparently you can literally just grab a photo you've already taken and capture the face from that photo. I think the face just has to be a certain size and looking directly at the camera for it to be able to register. So then below that, you can change and delete the priority of the registered people. So if you pull this up, you'll see that there's 10 different slots where you can basically move people's faces around depending on how you want to order the priority of the focus on those faces. In terms of like practical application for how this would work, I'm thinking about like a wedding where I'd be shooting a wedding and want to make sure that the bride and the groom's faces are the priority 1 and 2, so that the camera automatically searches for their faces and prioritizes their faces above everything else, which could be really helpful when you're, say, walking down the aisle and there's a bunch of different people in the background. The camera doesn't know specifically which face it wants to focus on. You're now telling the camera, hey, this is the person's face I want you to capture, and it's going to automatically lock onto the bride's face, the groom's face, however you have that set up, which is really cool and honestly mind-blowing that the camera can even do that. But yeah, you can register up to 10 different people and then move those around in different ways. Super handy. Moving down through the menu options here, you can also delete all the registered people, which if you want to just clear it all out and delete everything, you can do that. But what's really cool is you can actually save and load registered data onto a memory card. So this would be really useful if you are shooting in multiple different situations, like say you shoot for different businesses and you want to have, you have the CFO and the CEO and different people in the company where you want to register their face so the camera knows to track those people. And then you often do a different job for a different company, you want to register those faces, but then maybe you come back to company A again and you want to shoot that. You could literally have all those faces already registered in the camera, just load that data right back in via a memory card, and now you have all those faces back in and you're ready to go when you show up for your job. That's a really cool option. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. I honestly haven't been able to field test this. I have a wedding next weekend that I'm absolutely going to be trying this out at, but really cool to see these kind of features coming into a camera that already has mind-blowingly good autofocus, and I'm really excited to test this out and see how it works. But just want want to let you know, for all of you R3 users, this is a new feature that I think will actually be really, really helpful and really, really useful. But if you don't pay attention to all the notes of the firmware releases, you might not even know that your camera can do this. So hopefully that was helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.